people are still trying to scrape together their rent and sacrificing other necessities like food and medication and healthcare because they'd rather be hungry than homeless.
More than 4 months into the coronavirus pandemic, the United States is facing another ongoing crisis: evictions. As government relief and legal protections are running out for millions of out-of-work Americans, protesters are demanding lawmakers to cancel rent and mortgage payments to grant reprieve during the pandemic.
Cancel mortgage, cancel rent. We need housing, can't live in tents.
But experts say renters were already vulnerable before the coronavirus arrived.
The pandemic has caused historic levels of job losses and unemployment, and it's hitting Black and Latinx communities of color the hardest. And these are the same communities that are also disproportionately bearing the brunt of infections. The pandemic has also exacerbated the existing housing and homelessness crisis. And so even before the pandemic, low-income renters were severely rent burdened, which means that they were paying more than half their income of rent.
Soy mecánico y las personas con las que yo trabajo pues son personas latinas y casi todas las personas pues perdieron sus trabajos y por lo tanto y como tienen sus carros parados pues no me llamaban para trabajar ni nada y todo se me vino abajo. Antes de la pandemia pues todo era estable, mi hogar era estable, yo estaba trabajando normal, mi esposa trabajaba 5 días a la semana, yo estaba trabajando normalmente, no tenía problemas económicos, no estaba esta situación que ahorita la verdad es terrible. Tengo 4 meses de no pagar mi renta, 4 meses y pues aunque estén dando los 12 meses que dice que están dando para que uno se ponga al corriente con la renta, ¿quién garantiza que inmediatamente al retirarse de la pandemia uno va a poder cumplir con ese pago, ¿me entiendes? ¿No? Eso va a ser totalmente, yo lo veo imposible.
What cities and states have done is they've passed moratoriums. It's varied. There's currently a patchwork of different laws that have been passed. The eviction moratoria have been put in place, but they're also expiring now. And some states and cities just never adopted them in the first place. And so without ongoing protections against evictions and substantial rent relief to address the back rent, housing advocates are anticipating a massive tsunami of evictions in the coming months.
Once the COVID emergency began and folks started to lose their jobs, we started to see more and more folks needing to have protections to be able to stay in their homes. What advocates did is they began to pressure the city and county to begin to roll out protections that kept folks in their home, and it resulted in moratoriums at the city and county level and at the state level. Essentially what those moratoriums do is they buy time. They don't necessarily avoid eviction. We're beyond crisis mode. Many of the tenant organizers in this city that have been doing this work for a long time have never seen this before, and many are calling this the equivalent of 2008's foreclosure crisis, but at an exponential level.
Pues tengo una hija de 16 años que ella tiene 0 defensas. Es lo que yo estoy viviendo, lo que le estoy diciendo. Hay otras personas que puede ser que estén peor, ¿me entiendes? Que no tienen ni siquiera comida, no tienen agua para beber, tal vez están bebiendo agua del chorro, ¿me entiendes? Hay muchas situaciones diferentes. La mía es delicada por mi hija. Yo con gusto yo podría decir, voy a salir a trabajar, voy a salir a buscar, pero me tengo que a veces detener por miedo de que vaya a haber personas infectadas y venga yo y voy a llevar el virus a mi casa, y luego están incrementando aumentos de renta excesivos y eso no es justo, ¿me entiendes? No es justo. Pero sí, a mí me gustaría que si en algo sirve mi testimonio, lo que yo estoy viviendo, para ablandar un poco el corazón de los senadores que aprueben una ley para ayudar, no solo para ayudarme a mí, para ayudar a la comunidad en general, porque no soy yo el único.